So yeah, Aaron Draplin is a good designer. But is he great? Personally, I don't think so. And I want to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave Connery, and I'm an artist and merch designer based in Southern California, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this right out of the gate, but I'm asking you guys to just be patient with me because I promise there's a payoff, and it's a good one. I'm already spoiling the gag, but just hang tight, okay? Here's a piece of history for you. For a brief period of time, Aaron Draplin and I worked at the exact same company. We never got a chance to meet back then because by the time I had an opportunity to meet some of the people in his building, he'd already moved his way up to Portland, California. Portland, California? Where the hell is Portland, California? It's probably a city called Portland, California. He'd already moved up to Portland, Oregon. Up there, he created his design empire and became one of the most notable human beings in the entire industry. Aaron is super popular, and I challenge you to name one person that came after him that has more notoriety than he does. Maybe you can think of some, but I can't think of any of his size. Poor choice of word. His expanse. No, that's bad too. He's pretty famous. We are an all-size inclusive YouTube channel here. I'm just saying, Aaron, if you're watching. I mean, he does call himself a big man in short pants, so, you know. But really, is Aaron a great designer? When I think of great designers, I think of people who changed the industry so much that it completely altered how we even work as designers. I think of people like Charles and Ray Eames, Saul Bass, Massimo Vignelli, April Greiman, Stefan Sagmeister, and of course David Carson. Love them or hate them, those folks changed graphic design forever. But did Draplin? I don't think so. Now, of course, there are a bunch of people that followed suit and started doing the whole fat lines thing, and that's cool, but that really that was just a phase and it kind of went away. I mean, he's still doing his thing and that's cool, and there's some other people that still do it and that's cool, but it never really changed how we work. In fact, most of the designers today have moved far beyond that scope. Now, there's no denying that Aaron is a highly competent designer, and I can openly admit that he would design circles around me when it comes to logo and branding design. Not my forte. His extensive body of work is almost enough to put him on the list of the greats. Almost. Interjectory note, I believe that Aaron is actually a really great person. I've had the opportunity to meet him 2 times since, and I respect not just his personality, but his presence in the industry. There are plenty of designers who have done similar work, maybe even some a little bit more refined than Aaron, but have you heard of a single one of them? Probably not. Aaron is a really good designer, but what makes him great is not the design work. What makes Aaron great is how he shows up. First, he's loud.
I say what I like to say. I try to, do that all my life, and our legal team put together a little something you guys need to sign off on real quick. Thank you.
And I don't just mean that he's loud like me kind of loud, like I'm loud, like I'm loud. He's loud because he's vocal. This one sometimes turns a lot of people off of him, but I believe that it's his ability to become a megaphone for the industry that really sets him apart from the rest of the class. And honestly, I think it's that voice that he has that has turned him into the icon that he's become. Number 2, he's self-deprecating. He'll be the first to tell you that he sometimes still feels like an amateur. We know that's not true.
I have no credentials. No professional accolades, Google that shit. Good luck.
Number 3, he's self-aggrandizing with his tongue deeply implanted into his cheek. He touts his greatness with just as much cheekiness as he does his own self-deprecation.
Last year, I did 50 shows. And my buddies in Red Fang, I think they only did 74 shows, so think about that shit.
Number 4, he's opinionated. We all know where he stands politically, and a lot of people get disenfranchised by that, but for the people that agree with him, they really appreciate his candor.
Shit, that's not even close to perfect, okay? Number 1, Kid Rock. I'm from Detroit, and this is.
With his work, he always designs from a place of respect, especially when looking back at the work that came before him.
I don't want it to go away. The work they did was beautiful to me because it had restraint, had one color. And yet, at 1/1000th of the power we have in our mouse finger, they did incredible stuff back then.
6, he's nostalgic as hell.
My friends are saving to go to India. It sounds incredible, but I go to Indiana, right? And I've been with my camera around my neck, rescuing treasures.
If his vast collection of matchbooks, farm journals, and vinyl records wasn't enough to convince you, Aaron takes junking and collecting and appreciation for days long since past to a stratospheric level. 7, he is kind and generous. A few years ago, I went to a designer con here in Anaheim, and I took my son with me, and when we visited his booth, as busy as he was, he took the time to not only talk to me, but talk to my son, and he treated my son not just as like some kid who just like, hey, what's going on, little guy? He treated him like a normal human being. There was no pandering, and he just treated him right and good, and he was very generous with his time, and so I appreciate that. That one little bit scored more points with me than anything else. Number 8, and this is a big one. He's enterprising. Although he does a significant amount of client work, he's not sitting on his butt waiting for the next big client to come in to pay his mortgage for him.
You can invent your clients, you can invent your life. I made a little thing called field notes just because I couldn't find shit without, yeah.
Draplin was designing his own merch long before it was cool, and he's been building his Field Notes brand of notebooks into a legacy that's going to last long after he's gone. Number 9, he's mobile. Weather and pandemic permitting, he travels the country in an orange and black Ford Econoline van, going to colleges, arenas, events, and communities, and schools, and all of these things to kind of bring his stuff into the world, whether it's just selling the merch and sharing posters, or bringing really good thoughts and education into people's lives so he can expand the world of design in a way that I don't think anybody else does. Number 10, he's got tremendous street cred. You don't just see him being talked about in design circles, on design blogs, in Instagram design accounts. In fact, a lot of those places are very fickle about who they decide to rub up against when it comes to sharing good design work. His style, his aesthetic, his demeanor are respected by various industries all across this country. And he's also recognized by some of the most famous brands in the world. And number 11, he's you. Rather, he's all of us. He often portrays himself as just a regular guy, and I believe that to be true based on my few interactions with him. I believe he is as authentic as it comes. But I also believe that he authentically represents the design community as truthfully and honestly as any one person could. At the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of nostalgic geeks that are just tweaking lines and dots to get them so they're just so. Always feeling anxious about how people think about our work and just trying to get paid for the thing that we love to do. Aaron is the physical and possibly spiritual embodiment of all of that stuff for most of us. So yes, I believe Aaron is an exceptional designer, but what makes him great is how he represents the industry and also how he represents us. But what is the actual point of this video? Did I really just entice you with a clickbait title just so I could turn around and talk about Draplin like a fanboy, just in an effort to get you to hit the like button? No. Well, maybe, but not really. It's because I'm looking at you and how you work, and I'm wondering, how are you going to last? When I say you, I mean the whole design community, which includes me. Let me ask you a question. When you get to the end of your design career, what do you think you will have left behind? Because an extensive portfolio is only gonna get you so far. Really, the question is, how long do you think your career is going to last when all you are doing is client work, exchanging time for money? How long is it gonna be before you start making your own product? When are you gonna start creating your first training course? When are you gonna start showing up? Not just for others, but for yourself. Because yeah, some people are gonna continue to buy Aaron's work just because of how cool it looks. But a lot more people are gonna continue to buy his stuff because of the effect he has had on their lives. So what's it gonna be? Or rather, how long is it gonna take for you to start putting out stuff that makes people feel something? And I wanna know how this video makes you feel. Until next time, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya. It was always about the love, no hate.